Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome to a new playthrough on the channel. After our adventure in the Eastern Front the last 2 weeks, we're headed over to the Pacific Front of World War II Europe, as we're playing Manila, The Savage Streets 1945 by Revolution Games. This one is actually very similar to Stalingrad, Advance to the Volga, that we played 2 weeks ago, but just like the title would suggest, we're in Manila this time. We're taking on the Japanese, unlike when we were taking on the Soviets as the Germans in Stalingrad. We're playing as the U.S. So we've got our forces here at San Rafael. We've got the forces of the... Let's see, that is the 11th Airborne. We've also got up here, that is the 1st Cavalry and the 37th Infantry up here in Zone 1. So everything's very similar to, like I said, everything's very similar to Stalingrad. So, without any further ado, we only start off controlling the 3 zones. Morale is strong right now, so let's jump right into the action. We don't have to worry about bloody streets. We're in the dawn phase. We don't get reinforcements of this first turn. No permanent withdrawal. So now I'll go to the random event. So that's a 3d6 roll, and I'm going to use the smaller dice, which I don't like these smaller dice. We get an 11. Oop. Let's just make sure nothing went crazy on me. Okay, so 11. The value of any mandatory attack this turn is reduced by 1 this turn. As we've got civilians and refugees that we're worried about there. So I'll put that as our active event, as the chit will be on the board. So now we get to roll for supply. Supply, just like in Stalingrad, is a 4d6 roll. And on the first turn of the game, we treat anything less than 12 as a 12. Which that is going to be a total of 16 supply points. So I'll move the 10 to 1 and the 1 to 6, just so I know I've got 16 supply points. Which means I can use those to buy support units, and I think the costs are going to be very similar. Yep, so we've got artillery support, engineer support, and air support. So I think I'm going to start off by buying... by buying both of the air support. So that'll clean me out of 6 supply points. Then I'm going to buy 3, and actually those should go here. Then I'm going to buy 3 engineer supports for 6 more. So that'll bring me down to 4 supply points, and I will bank the rest. Okay. So we're going to bank those. Now we go into the combat phase. So what do we want to do here? I think our concentration, and since we're not having to pause anybody, that's going to lend me to being a little bit more aggressive, I think. One thing I do want to check, though, is I see some units that have asterisks as attack values. So let's see what the asterisk translates to. I didn't see that in Stalingrad. So I'm just going to see if I can find something to explain about that. It has no intrinsic value and may not... Okay, so that's just to indicate that it can't be... That's just to indicate that it can't be selected as a lead unit. Okay, that makes sense. So, I think that being said, our goal here... So the goal we're looking for here is to... Does not want an automatic victory. So how do we check the... So what is the automatic victory condition? That's what I'm trying to find out here. Here we go. If at the end of any combat phase, every map is controlled, or if every area on the map is controlled, if American morale is at 0, then the Japanese win. If we get both, then we still win an automatic victory. So, I don't know that I want to send infantry down into a fortified area, but I definitely want to be a little bit more aggressive. So I'm going to start off by sending... actually, you know what? If I plan on using air support, it'll probably be fine. So I actually am going to activate so we actually are going to start off by activating the 11th Airborne, as we're going to send them down into Nichols Airfield. We'll send everybody in. Okay, so we are in the combat phase here. Just going to check the order here. We'll designate the 1511. I don't think it really matters as our lead unit. I'm just going to look for a different marker that I can use. I'm just going to use another arrow so I can designate who our lead attacker is. And I can assign as many supports as I have units there. I'm definitely going to throw an air support in to this one, and I'm going to send an engineer support in as well. So the air support is actually going to reduce the Japanese defense value by 1d6, and American attack value goes up +2 because of the engineer support. So we did that. We need to find out what kind of defense we're looking at here. So because of a fortified unit, we are looking at Fanatics. Oh joy. So they're an 8 + 4 is 12, but Fanatics say if the combat result is a success, it's changed to a stalemate. Ignore if the combat result was a repulse, stalemate, or overrun. I believe only armor can overrun, but let me double check that. Let's see. Oh, I think overrun is actually is greater than the defense factors. So yeah, we're probably not real likely to clear that, but we'll find out about that. So I do have counters, and I think now we're on tabulating the values. So we're starting off with a defense value for the Japanese of a 12. Our attack value is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then we do get to reduce the defense value because of the air support by a d6 roll. Hopefully we roll high on this one. That is not high at all. So we're down to 11, which means we are starting off down 2. And we need to win this by at least 8. So I'm going to roll green dice for the Americans, red dice for the Japanese. So we need a high roll and they need a low roll so we can take the Fanatic out. Let me make sure I just factored everything in correctly. To 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep. Okay, so that's where we're at. That was an absolutely terrible roll. For us, anyway. So they were at a 9. We are going to finish at 13. The problem is they're going to finish at 20. So we actually got repulsed on, I believe we got repulsed on that. Right? That sure seems like we got repulsed. Yeah. Okay, so everything are flipped to their spent side. Oh, we also had a -1 value, so we actually failed that by even worse. Yeah, that's delightful. So our 1511 is actually out of action. Do they retreat? I don't think they do, actually. On a repulse, I don't think they retreat. Well, retreat is required in cases of a failed mandatory attack. So, yep, they will retreat. That was unfortunate. So that infantry's out of action. These supports have been used. Gross. Not the way I wanted to start this game. As we have very crappy dice rolls to start here. Forgot to set that up. Our next attack is, we're actually going, like I said, I kind of want to get aggressive here. So I think we're going to go. We actually had unit cohesion as well. Not that would have mattered anyway. So we're actually going to go ahead and deploy some of our. We're going to deploy some of the units from the 1st Cavalry. So we're going to send this tank unit, infantry. I want to try to keep I don't think we're going to be able to keep unit cohesion here. I do want to try to make 3 attacks from this, originating from this space if I can, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. Well, we might be able to with armor spearheading us. I think we're going to go. Actually, no. I think we'll be fine. So I think we'll do it like this, and I'm going to designate the 44D there as our lead unit. And then, do I want to support here? I think I'll send as Troy Sawyers first to join us here in Manila. Do I want to deploy a support? I think I will deploy an engineer support. So that'll give us attack value +2. Then we'll figure out what the Japanese are defending with. They are defending with Fanatics again, with a defense value of 6. That's wonderful. +2 because of the clear bonus is 8. So we are looking here at. So we're starting off with 5, 6, 7, 8 +2 is 10. So we're starting up 2. So we're going to roll this again, and we need to clear this by at least 6 to get rid of that fanatic. So let's see what we get here on our 2d6 for both sides roll. Come here. Another terrible roll. All right, so 8 + 8 is 16. That's where they're going to finish. We are going to finish at 10 + 6, also 16. Result there is a stalemate. So this one, so Ballara we'll have Bloody Streets to start next turn. That's delightful. And they're all spent. So because it's a stalemate, I think they stay, but nothing changes. No effect on the Japanese unit. Wow. We're off to a great start here. I think we're going to send this. I think we're going to send the 44A, Chase HQ, and the 2-8 infantry. We'll designate the armor, of course, as our lead unit. We've got a +3 bonus here. Do I want to send support in here? No, I don't think I do. We'll flip over the urban unit here. We find a sniper. Sniper says place 1 leader unit in the out of action box after combat resolution. Player's choice of more than 1 leader is present. If no leader unit is present, treat it as an ambush. So how do we tell if a leader unit is present? It's an HQ unit. So we do have an HQ unit present. So he'll be going into the out of action after combat's over. Okay. So we're not sending any units there. Gross. Okay, so we tabulated. So 8 + 3 is 11, which is what they're defending with. We have an attack value of 7, 8, 9. Great. Rolling to see what we get. We're starting down 2. Oy vey. Okay. So 9 plus 4 is 13. They rolled a 10, plus 8 is 18. So they very much repulsed the attack, which means both our lead unit and the HQ both go to the out of action, and they have to retreat. And the 2-8 has to retreat. So yeah, we're off to a rockin' good start here. Oh. So far we've had 1 stalemate and we've been repulsed twice. But that's probably the price of urban combat. So let's see what I want to do next here. Let's go into Santa Mesa Estate with everything that's left from the 1st Cavalry. And we are going to give them an engineer support. So that's going to give us +2 attack value. And what we're dealing with here for defense is an ambush. So ambush says place the lead attacking unit in the out of action box after combat resolution. Ignore if the combat result was a repulse. Oh joy. So they're starting off with a defense value of 5. Our lead unit is an armor division, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Right now we're winning by 6. We need to win by at least 3 in order to not have to deal with fanatics, in order to not have to deal with that ambush. Next, we've got to get an overrun here, is what we need. Actually, I think we just lose them anyway, so yeah, this is great. Okay, our first roll that isn't completely terrible. So a 5 plus 10 is 15 for the Japanese. We're at 11 plus 12 is 23. So we do get the overrun. But an overrun does not cancel the ambush. So that means we lose our 44B into the out of action. But we do take the ambush off the board. Our first victory here in Manila. Our first victory. Yay! Good grief. Then we'll make our next attack into Maypaho. And I think we're going to go, we've got an air support left. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, we'll designate one of our armor units as our lead attacker. Here we go. We'll designate this one because why not? And then for the urban unit that we're defending here, we've got another set of fanatics. Okay. So the defense value there is 10 for the Japanese, 6. This one I'm going to give air support. All right, so 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And the fanatics, just to refresh our memory, fanatics, if it's a success, it's changed to a stalemate unless we get an overrun. So let's roll for how much we're reducing the Japanese defense value in Maypaho by. We're reducing it by 4. So that brings us down to 6, which means we're currently not winning by enough to avoid an overrun. So we're relying on the dice here to give us the rest of the breathing room. Or to avoid, to get the overrun so we don't have to deal with the fanatic. Which I think we pulled that off. So that was a 10 plus 6 is 16. Whereas a 10 for us plus 11 is 21. we actually didn't win by enough. So we do end up with a stalemate, which means so it is a success, but it gets changed to a stalemate. Great. So those all flip to their spent sides. That air support comes out there. And I think for the one attack that was repulsed, we do reduce morale by 1. And I'm just going to double check that. Support marker. I thought there was something... I know there was something in Stalingrad about losing morale on failed attacks. I'm just going to double check that. Okay, so yeah, on a repulse we reduced morale by 1, which we actually did have 1 repulse. And I forgot we've got attack value +1. That didn't do enough here. Wonderful. We're off to a rockin' good start, as you can probably see. Unfortunately, we're going to have to make this last attack supportless. So, let's go ahead and get set for an attack on Kokomo Island. Armor will be our lead. 3, 4, 5, and 6. We got no support. So in Kokomo Island we have another Fanatic at a defense value of 9. So they're starting off at 12. We're designating armor as our lead unit. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we're down by 1. Once again hoping for dice to bail us out here. And we need to win this by at least 9. So we get the overrun, which means the Fanatic isn't going to stall us out again. So basically we're hoping for the dice to cooperate with us here. Which the dice are most definitely not cooperating with us this morning, as you can probably guess. 11 plus 3 is 14. 6 plus 14 is 20, which means the attack actually gets repulsed. So we're going to lose another morale, and our lead unit, which was our armor unit, is going to... Jeez! So our armor unit's just getting taken out, and everything there has to retreat. Well, this is off to a rockin' good start. Ugh. Let's see, so actually they would have been fully stacked, so I think 2 of these would have had to retreat through another fully stacked area to get it back up to Grace Park Airfield. Ugh. Good grief. Well, that didn't work for us even a little bit. So I think we're going to move into the end phase, which the end phase, once I think the end phase just essentially is going to reset everything. Yeah, didn't win an automatic victory, so we're just going to flip everything over. I think that was the only attack that succeeded. It's also bothering me a little bit that these map spaces are very, very small, especially for the number of units that you're putting on them. So that'll bring us into turn 2 as we go into the dawn phase and we get reinforcements. So now we've got more units for the 11th Airborne getting ready to join the party. Now, is there anything being placed in any combination of Area 30 or Area 27-28. They're all going into Area 30. Fantastic. Okay, so now we go into the random event phase, which is a 3d6 roll. That is a 13. Pause the 11th Airborne Division, so they can move, but they can't attack. So the 11th Airborne is everything down here in Area 30. So I'm just going to put a die down here. That's not the color. That's not a color we're using. So I'm just going to grab a blue die here, just so I remember that, hey, they're paused. They can't move this turn. Oh. Jeez Louise. I'm trying to remember that this is the nature of war, and I had a lot of the same problems when I was playing Stalingrad 2 weeks ago. I'm also having a lot of the same problems with the map. The map is a lot easier to get on camera than Stalingrad was, because this is a landscape map as opposed to the portrait map that we had to deal with in Stalingrad. And actually the map in Stalingrad was a little bit longer. But, this is not going well for us at all. So now we're rolling for the supply phase. I did almost forget about that. That is 14 more supply points. That'll bring us up to 18 supply points. Let's see. That's our first order of business would be costing us probably 11 supply points to get all of those units back. Is that what we want to start with? Let's see. 3. So yeah, 3, 6, 9. 10, 11, 12, 13 to bring everything back. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do here, and that'll leave us with 5 supply points. So now we need to find spaces that are American controlled. Let's see, where do I want to go with these? That's off the board. I forgot we've got this. So that'll be our active unit. We'll use that shit instead. That'll be our active event. Okay, so where do I want these to go? They have to go to American-controlled spaces. We'll start with one here at Santa Mesa Estate. That's the unit from the 1st Cavalry. Then an HQ unit, I'll also go there with it. Then we'll go to Grace Park Airfield. We'll go up again to Grace Park Airfield. And this one is going to go... I'm going to put that over here as well. With the 11th Airborne, which is currently paused this turn. It can't move because it's surrounded. So what do we want to do here? We've got a pair of fanatics. Actually, the first thing we need to do is at the start of the combat phase, roll a d6 for each contested urban and fort area. We've got one urban zone that's contested. That is up here at Mapaho. All right, a 6 says flip the units to their spent side and reduce morale by 1. Oh. Good grief. So they're just going to get bogged down here. So everything's spent, which means they're not doing anything this turn. And we reduce morale by 1. And I think that is our only... Yeah, that's our only contested urban area. We don't have bloody streets with Ballara, thankfully, but we do have the combat there, and I believe because it's contested, we will have a mandatory attack. That was not contested. An area is already contested. So I am going to go ahead and start off with an attack up here at Ballara. We'll designate the armor as our lead unit. Defense value of 8 for the Japanese, 5, 6, 7, 8 for us. So we need to hope the dice gods are with us so we can win this combat by at least 6 and get rid of that fanatic. Which we can't. So 8 plus 4 for us is 12, plus 2 for them is 10. So the attack is a success, but because that's a fanatic there, that'll change it to a stalemate. Jeez Louise. What do I want to do here? Do I want to try to go take out that sniper? I don't know how crazy I am about trying to take out the sniper. I'm looking at the San Francisco Del Monte estate. I'm deciding if I want to try to take that out without any support. Honestly, I'm not crazy about the idea. And that sniper places a leader unit in the out-of-action box after combat resolution. I'm not crazy about trying to take that sniper out without support, so I'm not going to. I'm not going to try. I think, honestly, we just sit tight and try to get more supply points for next turn. That's probably our better play here. So we're going to go to the end phase. We'll flip all of this over. That's everything in Mepaho. And we'll move to turn 3, starting in the dawn phase. I don't think there was anything happening in the dawn phase. Let's see. Reinforcement, permanent withdrawal, leader mortality. Oh, where the leader unit was placed in the out-of-action box. I needed to roll for that. Okay. Alright, so now we're into the random event phase. Hopefully we don't get anything that's going to put the screws to us here. Let's see, 13, that sounds like a pause again. 13, the 11th Airborne is still paused. Apparently they don't want to join the action. Rolling for supply. Nine more supply points. That'll bring me up to 14 supply points. Hold on. I'm going to put myself on Do Not Disturb. So 14 supply points. What to do with those? I definitely want to buy some support units. Now that we've got now that we've got all of our support units available. So we'll start off with 6 to buy some air support. That'll bring me up to 8. That'll bring me down to 8. Then we'll go Mouse in Your House saying great game. Well, we'll see how I feel about this when it's over. It's not been going well so far. So we'll go another. Let's see, we'll go 5 for artillery support. And I think that's where we're going to. I think we're going to bank the other 3 supply points. Let's see, we'll start off with the bloody streets on Maypaho. Now that we're moving into the combat phase. A 1 this time is no effect. Okay, so, which means they can actually do something this round. And I think they're going to. We'll start there. So they're starting off with a defense value of a 10. I'm going to pull everything there. I'm definitely sending support in with this. So Fanatic, you just mean in general it's a fun game. Win or lose for you anyway. That's fair. I'm just... Maybe I'm a little salty that this isn't going very well, admittedly. But, yeah, things are just going completely crazy here. Let's start off with air support in there. I'll also send in some artillery support. Because I really want to get rid of that Fanatic. I thought I had one of my arrow tokens there. So I could designate... I should have had a second one there I should have had a second one out on the board that I was using earlier, because I know I've got the one I'm using to track the phases. Yeah, looks like that one actually walked with Jesus on me here. I don't know where it landed, but fortunately I've got the bag right here, so it's just as easy as fish out another one. We're going to make one of the armor our lead there. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 is what we're starting with for our attack value. And then we get to reduce that Fanatic by a d6 roll. Hopefully a big roll this time. 1 is not what I had in mind. So we're down to 9, and remember, we need to clear this by at least 7 to get rid of that Fanatic. And right now, unfortunately, we're only winning... Right now, we're only winning by 4, and the dice have not been kind this morning. Let's hope that changes right here. Hopefully you guys are enjoying watching me fumble around here in Manila. That definitely does not look like we're getting rid of that Fanatic. So a 9 for the Japanese plus 9 is 18. That's a 13 plus 6 is 19. That is a success, but because it's a Fanatic, that changes the result to a stalemate. So those 2 artillery supports are done. Well, the one thing this game seems to be doing very well is simulating some of the frustration of urban combat. Where if you're an attacking army trying to take a city like this, you're basically just kind of putting yourself in the meat grinder. And we've barely gotten out of the city gates at this point. That's how bad this is getting. Here's the arrow I was looking for. I knew I had another one out. I just never moved it from Ballara, but it's a good thing we left it there because I think that's going to be our next attack. We'll call in some artillery support in there as well. So they're going to start off with a defense value of an 8. I'm designating the armor as our lead, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Unfortunately, we're only winning by 1, and we need to clear this by at least 6 to get rid of that Fanatic. Which I think we did it here. So actually, well, we'll find out. So 10 plus 9 is 19. They're at 8 plus 4 is 12. That is enough to get rid of the Fanatic, thankfully. Good grief. So that Fanatic's gone. which means now this area is finally American controlled. Let's see, what do we want to do next here? I could theoretically try a pincer move here to try to take the sniper out. Do I have to designate the zone as the area that's moving? I don't think so. I think it's just the unit that may activate areas of the map containing fresh units to move. Okay, well, let's go ahead and activate Grace Park Airfield so we can try to take out the sniper at Del Monte Estate. We don't have unit cohesion here, so we are going to designate this armor, and I'm going to throw everything I've got into this attack. So I'm going to throw in some air support, and I'm going to throw in my 2 artillery. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 is what we're... 12, 13, that's what we're starting with. They've got a defense value of 11 to start with before I roll our air support. 3. Okay, I don't completely hate that. 1, 2, 3. So right now we're winning by... And a sniper is going to put the leader unit in the out-of-action box after it's over. I don't think we have a leader unit there. Leader unit would be an HQ. Yeah. Do we have an HQ unit there? We do not. So we get to ignore that. We do need to clear by at least... We just need to clear this. So right now we are winning by 5. And I think we still win by 4. So 13 plus 6 is 19. 8 plus 7, 5, 6, 7 is 15. So we do manage to clear this sniper out. So that'll go back into my urban baggie. Then we'll flip everything over to spent sides. And we haven't captured anything with an American flag yet. So nothing happening there. And I don't really want to send anything into Kokomo Island right now. We're going to need support for that attack as well. So I think that's where we're going to end the turn. We'll flip everything over here. Oop. These are going to use support. That arrow is going to move over here. We'll bring that out of the way. Flipping all of this over. And we're into turn 4. Starting with the dawn phase, nothing happening there. Random event phase. It would be nice to get the 11th Airborne off their asses so we can actually use them this turn. 14. The dice are giving me the bird on that. As the 11th Airborne is paused yet again. Wonderful. Let's see how many supply points we get. 15 more supply points. Okay, I don't hate that. We'll start off by buying our air support again for 6. Then we'll grab 3 engineer support for 6 more. That'll bring me down to 6. And we'll grab 6 artillery support just to clean me out. combat phase. We'll start off with the bloody streets over here in what is this? Maypaho again. We're gonna wait for OBS to reconnect. There we go. So now I want to try to take out this fanatic in Maypaho. So we're going to send in some air support, and I'm going to designate 3 artillery support because I want to try to dislodge that fanatic. So that's a +3, which means they're starting off with a defense value of 10. Our lead unit is going to be this armor right here, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And then minus 1d6 for the Japanese defense value. Okay, that's the first reasonable roll that we've had all game. That's a 5. So that'll take them down to 5. Which means right now, 14-5, we are winning by 9, which would be enough to get rid of that fanatic. If the dice will cooperate with us on that. So we'll bring those into the spent. I think we just stalled out again. So we started off at 14 plus 4 is 18. They're at 5 plus 8 is 13. Unfortunately, we succeeded, but by only 5. And we needed to win that by at least 7. So they are stuck again in a stalemate. Good grief. Oh. Let's see. Well, I think our next attack is going to be... So now we're actually at control of 5, which is very much 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 actually. Which at this point in the game is probably pretty pathetic. We'll come down to the... Yeah, we'll try the water supply pipeline. We'll designate armor as our lead unit. And our unit here, our defender here, is a barrage. Barrage says... The attacking player must either place one attacking or infantry armor unit in the out-of-combat box prior to combat resolution, or flip all units to spent and retreat. I'm going to put the infantry in the out-of-action box. So that'll be a 5, 5, 6, 7. We're winning by 2, so I think we're just going to take our chances with that. And we're actually going to get somewhere. 7 plus 8 is 15. 5 plus 4 is 9. So we have gotten rid of the barrage. And then everything gets flipped to spent for that attack. I'm going to put out some control markers for spaces that I vacated but are still controlled, but are still U.S. controlled. Yep. What do I want to do here? Let's go down to Quezon City next. I'll throw in some support here as well. So I'm going to designate this unit as our lead unit, and our defender here is an elite. Oh, fantastic. So they roll 3d6 and drop the lowest roll. I think for this one I'm going to send in air support. And I'm going to send in air support and artillery and an engineer support. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 is our starting attack value. They've got a starting defense value of 10, but we reduce that by 1d6 roll. That's a 6. That's a roll I was hoping to see at some point here. 10 to 4. All right, so rolling once again for our attack. As you recall, the Japanese roll 3d6 because of the elite, and they will drop the lowest roll. And of course, it's going to end up being boxcars that they're going to get there. So an 11 plus 3 is 14. 4 plus 12 is 16. So the attack gets repulsed. And we have to retreat. That's delightful. So we get a big air support attack, but we can't even take advantage of it. And then because we got repulsed in the attack, I believe because we got repulsed, we do reduce morale. Yes, we reduce morale by 1. I haven't been factoring in the attack value plus 1. Let's see. What do we want to do here? I want to try to send another set of units in to try to repulse the elite. Not without air support, I don't think. I think instead, we're going to try our luck with these guys coming down here to Rosario Heights. They're going to take an artillery and an engineer as well. And the defender here is another barrage. Oh, fantastic. So we'll retreat. We'll send an infantry to the out of action. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're tied. All right. Let's try our luck here. Wow. 17 to 17. That's actually a stalemate. Oh, wait a minute. That doesn't seem right. So they started off with a 12. We didn't have air support. We had 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So actually, they rolled a 10, we rolled a 5, so 22. So actually, we got repulsed on that attack, which means I was designating armor as our lead. So they have to retreat. We reduce morale by 1 again. Once again, the +1 attack value for strong morale isn't doing anything. And you know what? I think I'm going to... that's going to be the end of combat, but I think that's also where I'm going to tap out and call it a game. That'll do it for this playthrough of Manila. The thing I've been noticing is I ran into this problem with Zombicide before, but I think the problem is for as much as you have going on in the map here, and the same thing is going to hold true with Stalingrad, I think to me the map spaces are just too small. They're not really doing the job I want them to, because there's too much stuff going on the board, and it gets, to me at least, it's getting confusing to try to keep, okay, this unit was here, this unit was there, I was putting support here. I'm rambling, but that's where I'm going with it. The spaces are just too small. And yes, the randomness of the... Yes, it's warfare, so there's a lot of randomness with the die rolls. And maybe I'm a little bit salty about the fact that this isn't going well for me at all, where I'm getting very bogged down here around my units, especially the fact that I've had at least 2 turns where I haven't been able to touch the 11th Airborne. That's been kind of frustrating to me too. But I'm rambling a bit, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. I do have another game. I do have at least one more game lined up for today, but I'm going to hold that close to the vest. As for what's scheduled on the channel, Wednesday we're continuing New Game November with another new debut as we play Transformers: The Deck Building Game by Renegade Studios. Mystical Munchies this coming week is going to be, I'm figuring it's going to be either late Saturday or Sunday upload, as I will be traveling during the day Saturday. But we'll be making the drink, hot chocolate, out of the unofficial Harry Potter cookbook. As for next week, we've got another new game, as I'm going to look at one of the games that Dave's Tabletop Gaming sent me a while back, and we are going to be playing Frostpunk the board game. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care everyone.